what's going on, guys? We're back with the next part of our Learning C# tutorial, and today we're gonna hopefully finalize the first version. I don't know if we're gonna revise it or not later on, but this is the first completed version of our wind system. And so first thing I want to do is we're gonna set the wind on our level manager, because this is a level manager. We want to have things like wind, things that are localized to this level in this level manager. Let's make a new public float, and we'll call it we'll just call it wind. Okay. And then what we'll do now, what I'm thinking is we'll have a -10 to 10 scale to choose from, something along those lines. We have to edit it, see how it actually ends up being in game, and I'll explain how I'm gonna do this. So inside of our overlay manager, we're gonna have a private float, and we'll do interpreted wind. Okay, and then in our start here, we're also gonna do. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. We'll do interpreted wind is equal to the level manager dot instance dot wind, and we'll do times the current weapon dot power. Now power, I want to do it as a either a 0 to 1 scale, or maybe 0 to 100, because it's easier to set that way, as a proportion, as a ratio of the power. So if we're at actually it would probably be actually 100 minus the power. Okay, and that's if we're using a 0 to 100 base. If you're using a 0 to 1 system, you'd be 1 minus the current weapon dot power. And what this will do is, let me make sure power is a float. Okay, it is a float. Good. And what this will do is, if let's say we have 50 power, which is a half system, what we'll do is do 100 minus 50, so that's 50. And actually, another thing I'm going to need is we'll do a divided by 100f. So we get 50, and then divide by 100, which will get us to that 0.5 ratio, and multiply it by the wind. Okay? And then our interpreted wind will be set to that wind times the ratio. It works if we have 100 power. If we have 100 minus 100, that's 0. Divided by 100 is still 0. Times the wind is still 0. So our interpreted wind is 0. And then if we have 0 power, which is the other end of the spectrum, we'll have 100 minus 0 is 100. Divided by 100 equals 1. 1 times wind, that is the full effect of the wind. So that's how we're going to do this. And eventually, what we're also going to do, I forgot, we have another thing we have to implement later on, is a distance system. So depending on how far you are from the target will also depend on how high up you'll have to aim. But I don't think we'll get into that this video. We'll do that in a future one. Okay, so now we've got our interpreted wind, and just for now, we're just going to debug this to the GUI. We might make this a little cleaner later on. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and create a new method called overlay GUI, and paste this guy in there, just so we don't have to worry about him. And then in here we'll do our we'll call it info GUI. Okay, so we'll make a little comment. We'll do wind, interpret wind. Later on we'll add in the, it's not L distance, we'll add in the distance and the aim height correction. Maybe a time limit if we have that there, and then mission info. So that's what we're going to put in this method. For now, we're just going to mess with the wind. We'll just do a GUI layout dot label wind plus level manager dot instance dot wind dot toString GUI layout dot label, and we'll do we'll call this power not corrected. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay, we'll put corrected for now. Okay. So now we've got this interpreted wind, but we need to actually do something with it. So if we go ahead and go to our shoot manager, you'll notice when we get the hits, we'll do the raycast all of the camera.screenPointToRay mouse position. And what we want to do here is, instead of mouse position, we'll do mouse position plus new vector 3, and we want no semicolon there, and we're going to put in the interpreted wind for the for the x value, 0 for the y, and 0 for the z. And this is taking in a vector 3 or vector 2? Taking in a vector 3, so this is actually is there a 2 vector 3? No. Okay. So we'll make our own vector 3 here. V2, or we'll do new vector 3 mouse position dot x mouse position dot y 0. Okay. So basically what we did was just convert our vector 2, which is 2D mouse position, to a 3D position by setting our z coordinate to 0. Then we're also adding in our interpreted wind to the x, which is the left and right axis. And remember that brings up another point. If our wind can go from a -10 to 10, we can also flip the wind. It could be a negative amount, and we're adding on a negative wind, so it could be to the left as well that we'll have to adjust. And then also, actually, I'm going to go ahead and, just as a little debug thing, we'll do GUI dot label. Not GUI dot label. We'll do GUI layout dot label, and we'll do well, we're already printing the interpreted wind, but I just wanted to know when we that screen point would be over where our target is, but we'll go ahead and just we'll go ahead and just leave that blank for now. We'll play it by ear. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. So we have our power set to 10. So for just for testing purposes, we'll set our power to 100. This should not be affected by wind. Oh, and I forgot we also have to. Where's our level manager? I'm pretty sure we put it somewhere in here. I thought we did. Oh, okay, that's why. No, see, it says no level manager found in the scene. That would be why. Okay, we'll put in a wind of 1, just something simple. And our targets, we'll go ahead and put in generic stickman. I should have done this earlier, actually. Okay. So our power is now 100, so our power corrected wind is 0. Whoops. And we can go ahead and shoot the guy. So now let's go ahead and edit our power to 0 so we get the full effect of the wind. And we still got him. So I think it's because our wind is so small, actually. I should have set it to something a little bigger. This isn't. Keep in mind, this is in pixel space. So let's set it to something like. Yeah, I think 50 is good. Because I have to keep in mind that this is. a relatively small screen space or viewport. So let's go ahead and we totally missed there. And I think if I move it over, okay, to the left about, no, there we go. So I had to aim over here for our wind to work correctly. Eventually I'm going to add in some sort of GUI tick marks or something, so we actually have the pixels on the overlay so we can check and see, make sure we're lined up properly. But we'll go ahead and do that in, actually that's when I'll add that to the comments. We'll go ahead and do that in another video. Add distance and wind tick marks to overlay, and I'll keep it in here for now, but eventually we're going to add it to our overlay GUI because that's where we're doing all the overlay stuff. Yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I'm gonna in the next one we'll either continue with our height, or maybe we'll continue with our level manager stuff. You'll notice we keep getting this this error saying no arguments passed, and that's just because if we go ahead and go to find all references, in here I think it was, yep. So we're passing in this, but we're not passing in the guy we got. So we'll pass in this game object. Okay, that's something real quick. But now we're passing in who died. And since this is the character damage zone, we're gonna pass in our own game object. Alrighty, so I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.